All right, today we are diving deep into a book that is, honestly, a game changer for so many people, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And it really all boils down to this one powerful promise, helping you find real, lasting freedom. How? By figuring out the answer to a super simple, but also super profound question. Who are you, really? I mean, who are you behind all that chatter in your head?
So let's just jump right in with a question that honestly gets to the absolute core of this book. Have you ever, really ever, noticed that voice in your head? You know, the one that just never stops talking. And hey, if you're hearing a voice right now that's saying, "What voice? I don't have a voice in my head." Well, guess what? That's the one.
Yep, that's the voice we're talking about. It's like this relentless narrator, right? It's always worrying, always judging, analyzing, debating, everything. It's that constant, familiar chatter that just rushes in to fill any quiet moment you might have.
Okay, so what is this voice? And for the love of everything, why doesn't it ever shut up? Let's dig into what Michael Singer has to say about our inner dialogue.
You know, the crazy thing is, it doesn't just talk, it argues with itself. It's like it takes both sides of every single conversation. One minute it's like, you know what, I should totally get married. And the very next second it's screaming, no way, you'll regret it. It honestly doesn't even care which side wins, as long as it gets to keep the argument going. And yeah, this is usually what's keeping you up staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m.
But seriously, just pause for a second and think about that. If it's you talking, and it's also you listening, who could possibly win that argument? It makes no sense, right? And that's exactly Singer's point. He uses this question to show us just how completely illogical and kind of absurd this inner noise actually is.
So why does it do this? Well, according to Singer, the mind is basically trying to create this little mental bubble of reality that it thinks it can control. Like, if it's cold outside, your mind will say, wow, it's cold. Not because you don't already know that, obviously, but because it wants to add its little bit of commentary like, don't worry, we'll be home soon where it's warm. It's basically acting like a buffer, a little defense mechanism against the raw, messy, unpredictable nature of real life.
And this right here, this leads to probably the single most important, most critical shift in perspective in the entire book. Ready for it? Here it is. You are not the voice. You are the one who hears it. Just think about it. Just like you're the one who sees the chair in your room, you are the consciousness that is aware of the thoughts. Just getting that little bit of separation, realizing that simple fact, that is the first huge step toward real freedom.
Now, to really help us get some distance from this voice, Singer gives us this absolutely brilliant analogy. He says, okay, imagine it's not just a voice. Imagine it's an actual person living in your head. And let me tell you, it's a very, very difficult roommate.
So yeah, think of this voice as your neurotic inner roommate, the one you are literally locked in a room with and can never, ever get away from. You know the type, they have an opinion on absolutely everything, they're constantly stirring up drama, and they never, ever shut up.
I mean, looking at it this way just highlights how completely absurd the whole situation is, right? Would you ever choose to live with someone this anxious, this critical, this, neurotic in the real world? No way! And yet here we are, letting this exact personality live inside our heads, rent-free, 24/7. And this roommate? Oh man, it can take a perfectly beautiful day and just trash it with one single negative thought. It gives you the worst, most fear-based advice you can imagine. And honestly, as Singer points out, its track record for predicting what's actually going to happen, it's terrible. It's almost always wrong. So let's be real for a second. If this voice was some external life coach or advisor you hired, wouldn't you have fired them ages ago? I mean, after being wrong so many times and causing so much stress. Of course you would have. So why on earth we keep listening to it? Why do we take major life advice from this maniac?
Okay, so this naturally leads us to the biggest, most profound question in the whole book. If you are not that neurotic voice, if you're not that terrible inner roommate, then who are you?
So the search for the real you begins by kind of taking apart all the labels we give ourselves. So let's start with the most basic one. Are you your name? Well, no, of course not, right? A name is just a label, a sound people make to get your attention. You were here long before anyone slapped that label on you, and you'd still be you if you decided to change it tomorrow.
All right, fine, so you're not your name. But what about your story? You know, your past, all the things you've done, the places you've been. Or what about your body?
Surely that has to be you, right? Nope, the book says you're not those things either. Think about it. You are the one who had those experiences, the one who lived that story. And you've been the same you looking out from your eyes as your body has changed completely from when you were a little kid to who you are today. So the story, the body, those are just things you experience, things you pay attention to. They aren't the you that's doing the paying attention. Okay, so let's recap. If you're not the voice in your head, you're not your name, you're not your story, and you're not even your body, then what in the world is left? This is where we get to the book's really profound answer.
What's left is you, the pure consciousness that is aware of all those things. Singer calls this the witness. It's that silent, centered part of you that experiences everything, but isn't defined by any of it. It's that simple, quiet feeling of, I am here, that has been with you, unchanging, your entire life.
This right here is the true seat of yourself. It's the spot you're always observing from. It's always calm, it's always centered, and it's always there. This is your true home, the real you, just sitting quietly behind all the noise of your thoughts and feelings.
Okay, so if we are this calm, silent witness, then why do we spend so much of our lives completely lost in all the drama? And that, my friends, is the final piece of the puzzle. It's about learning how to actually live from that centered place of awareness in our day-to-day lives.
Singer uses another amazing analogy for this. He says to imagine that life is like this incredibly realistic movie. I'm talking full sensory immersion, sights, sounds, smells, everything. Plus, it's got your thoughts and emotions perfectly synced up to the action. Now, your true self, your consciousness, is sitting in the theater watching all of this. But the movie is so good, so totally absorbing that we forget we're just the audience. We lean forward in our seats, we get completely lost in the plot, and we start to believe that we are the character up there on the screen.
And so that really is the ultimate challenge, right? That's the core practice that the book leaves you with. Can you wake up from the movie? Can you stop getting so lost in the character you're playing and remember that you are actually the silent, peaceful awareness in the audience, just watching the show of your life unfold? Making that shift, well, that's the whole journey right there.